Good morning and welcome back to the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club for the Terra Mining Dash for Cash here in Kalgoorlie. We are sitting right at the forefront of the resumption of racing this morning. It is finals time and the big dance for all 8 of our remaining classes. We had 3 feature class finals last night, wrapped up with a wild KZ race and a win for Nick Middick overnight in the KZ2 class, coming after Cooper Cuts' win in Tag 125 Restricted Medium and Benjamin Hall's win in the Cadet 12 class. We are back and about to kick things off with KA3 Junior for your first final of the morning. And scenes on the outgrid as all these young drivers get ready to go for KA3 Junior, brought to you by RNW Mining Services. This is how things are going to pan out today. KA3 Junior, your first class out, followed by 125 Heavy, 125 Light, 125 Restricted Light, followed by KA4 Junior, KA3 Heavy, Cadet 9, and KA3 Senior Championship. That is how they will come out in order today. It's 15 laps for all of your finals this morning as we crown winners in the Dash for Cash. They're all racing for their share of $1,000 in prize money in each of these classes today. As we say g'day to a beautiful morning here in Kalgoorlie. Things are set to get a little bit warmer than they were yesterday, with higher temperatures forecast, but by the time they come through, we should be done racing. It is morning racing here, and currently it's 15 degrees here in Kalgoorlie as we get set for 15-lap feature races. The KA3 Juniors, the first ones out on track, and they drive across the witness marks for the donut party last night after the KZ2 finals here in Kalgoorlie. So stay tuned as we bring you all the action from 4 Star Media's broadcast for the Terra Mining Dash for Cash here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club as we get ready to crown the next 8 series of winners, taking home their share of $1,000 in prize money in each of the 8 categories to run their finals this morning. It is KA3 Junior with Dylan Guest on the pole spot here. That number 50, Guesty Boys Ricardo Kart, with Toby Maiolo on the front row with him. Nash Ferraro on at P3 from Zane Rhodes in P4. Sachin Smith, way P5. Cooper Lyle on the 6. Jack Parham in the 7 spot. Joshua Nichols in the 8 from K. Davey in 9. And Jet McDonald rounding out your 10-kart field here for KA3 Junior. The IAMI KA100 engines, 100cc, air-cooled, electric start, and unrestricted as these youngsters feed their way onto the main straightaway. Watch the lights to go out to send us racing here. For KA3 Junior, we are away for 15 laps in the final. Guest is going to lead the field up the canteen turn. As Maiolo drops a wheel, he's going to lose a couple of spots there as they head into turn 2. Looks like Nash Ferraro getting fed to the outside of turn 2. He's going to drop back through the field and struggle to rebuild all that momentum. It's Guest leading from Sachin Smith way in second. Maiolo, Wild Horses, trying to get things sped up to open off his campaign in the final. I think he was late to come out of the outgrid and struggled a little bit. We'll get him in fine form surely soon. But it's Guest leading from Sachin Smith way in second spot now as they come out of Petruzzi's for the first time. Zane Rhodes into that 3 spot as they come around the velodrome. Look how close Sachin is getting already. He wants to put the pressure on the back of Dylan Guest and not let him run away with this one. The heat races yesterday, Zane Rhodes took the first 2 wins, but a DNF in the 3rd round of heats sees him back in the pack a little bit for our feature race today. Dylan Guest in the number 50 machine, a 5th, a 2nd, and a 1st. Had the best campaign heading into the final and leads the way here over Sachin Smith way in 2nd. Zane Rhodes 3rd, Toby Maiolo 4, Jack Parham rounding out your 5 from Ferraro, McDonald, Nichols, Davey, and Cooper Lyle. Your remaining running order. Cooper unable to get things going this weekend for your final session. He did have a couple of good runs yesterday. A 3rd place result in the 2nd heat of racing yesterday, but unable to convert that and carry that pace into the finals day so far, it seems, as Guesty bounces across the curves and onto the main straightaway. That number 50 GB Sport, all about hoses and discount leasing Ricardo Kart, running with the Palancas this weekend. Guesty in control so far. Sachin Smith way hot on his heels though. Young Sachin would love to pick up a big win here in Kalgoorlie and take away some prize money. Hot lap so far of 47.5 from Dylan Guest as he leads the way. We pick up with Jack Parham and Nash Ferraro. They're fighting it out for 4th and 5th at the moment. The GTS crew Esprit Kart over the number 16 Pinjarra Bakery BRM chassis of Nash Ferraro. Working his way along after a bit of a shocking start there at turn 2. Got caught up and ran out to the very dusty outside of turn 2 and got caught out in that one. They've got some work to do if they want to get themselves onto the podium here this morning. Here at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club, we're greeted by a beautiful day for some finals action. Running down these first few laps, it is 3 down, 12 to go. In these early stages here for KA3 Junior, brought to you by RNW Mining Services. Parham hanging on to the 4th spot, just ahead of Ferraro here as they work their way into the teardrop. Ferraro looking for a way around, is all over the rear bumper of Parham, giving a bit of a love tap through the teardrop. And that's a karting definition of a love tap, not a Cam Waters Supercars definition of love tap, as we saw at Eastern Creek yesterday, as now Ferraro makes the move. And Ferraro into that 4th spot, makes it happen now. He's got a huge margin to make up. We'll check on the official gaps as they hit the line, but you cannot even see 3rd further up the road. As they click these off, Ferraro has 3.2 seconds to make up onto the back of Zane Rhodes if he wants to get onto the podium here this morning. As Dylan Guest working his way out front. The number 50 GB Sport, all about hoses and discount leasing. Ricardo Kart. The definition of it ain't fancy, but it's fast for Dylan Guest. Got to have a look at the old school, the white chassis Ricardo Kart out in the pits this morning while Dylan was getting ready. And certainly lives up to the motto, it ain't fancy, but it's fast, as he leads things out from Sachin Smith Way. Zane Rhodes is on a mission at the moment. The last couple of laps, he's been quicker than the 2 guys in front of him, and this lap is no exception. Last lap, 48.1s for Dylan and Sachin. A 47.3 showing up here for Zane. And Sachin is all over the back of Dylan, so this could change yet, as we're yet to hit the halfway point. It's 5 down, 10 to go last time across the line. Dylan Guest leading from Sachin Smith Way down towards Patrizi's. If Zane can pull out another lap like that into the low 47s while these guys run around in the high 47s and low 48s, Zane will be on track to catch them very quickly here as they run through the velodrome and onto the main straightaway. Through Canteen Turn and into Turn 2. Now they settle the lap times down again. And Sachin Smith Wade grabs a hot lap of the race, a 47.063 for Sachin. New fastest lap of the race here in KA3 Junior, brought to you by RNW Mining. Nash Ferraro has been unable to open up the gap over Jack Parham behind him. They're going to stay 4th and 5th on the road here. In their battle, unable to close the gap and put the pressure on the leaders. They're lapping in the 47.3s at the moment. On pace with your leader, Dylan Guest, who's the slowest of the top 3 last time across the line. He was on a 47.2. The leaders on, well, the guys behind him, 47.0 and 47.1, as they feed their way onto the main straightaway and click off another lap. This time by, it's 8 laps to go as we follow this battle between Ferraro and Parham here at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club for the Dash for Cash, brought to you by Terra Mining in 2021. The richest race in the history of West Australian karting, as now Sachin Smith Way has grabbed the race lead. Sachin picking off Dylan Guest here, gets out front, he looks over his shoulder and he can see Dylan behind him. Dylan with his trademarked crooked NASA panel at the moment. The hot dog bun NASA panel. Still getting it done for Guesty. They've got to be careful not to bring Zane Rhodes into their party if they want to have a race between themselves. Down the main straightaway, Guesty was a bit awkward coming onto the straight. He lost a bit of ground onto the back of Sachin. He seems to be hurting in a straight line here. Sachin is opening up a healthy lead right now. Up the pit straight once again here. Zane Rhodes now closing up onto the back of Dylan Guest. Trying to put a fight on with him. As they head down towards Patrizi's once again. It was 7 to go last time across the line. Sachin's rear bumper is hanging down as well. This is all changing here because Sachin's rear bumper seems to be somewhat dislodged on the back of the number 28 machine. And we'll check on that. It seems like it's not hanging off the back of the car, but it's definitely hanging down. and right down onto the pavement as they come down the main straightaway through turns 1 and 2. You can see the back of that 28, and it's just dragging along there for Sachin Smith Way. Dylan Guest there in second. We'll be able to see that and start to make his own call on what he thinks of it, whether he needs to capitalise and just pounce on Sachin anyway, because Zane Rhodes still back there in third, could pick up the pieces here as they head down the hill once again. 6 to go last time across the line as they come through Patrizi's and pour on into the velodrome. This is KA3 Junior, the first final of today for their 15-lap final dance of the weekend here at the Dash for Cash, fighting it out for up to $1,000 in prize money across the top 3. As they bring it around onto the pit straight, Sachin looks over his shoulder. He can see Dylan is right there. Now Dylan's going for the over and under, but he's on the outside of the teardrop. That could be messy if he lets Zane Rhodes into the party. He looks to the inside, and it's going to be tight. They touch, and Sachin gives up the place. Dylan Guest goes to the front now. Zane Rhodes is in the party. And Rhodes wants to grab himself a win after 2 heat wins yesterday. We know he has the pace in this 26 Cosmic Kart, but now he's given away a couple of kart lengths to Dylan Guest, and he has very little time to make something happen here. Down the line, 4 laps to go. Guesty leads, Rhodes in second. Now Sachin wants to have a crack at Rhodes again through turn 1. And they're slowing each other down, and they are going to hand over this handy margin. Oh, there's the bumper completely off on the right-hand side of Sachin's kart. Zane got into him through the left-handers, and that bumper was flailing in the breeze, coming off its right-hand mount for the number 28 machine. This allows Dylan Guest to skip away with the race lead over Sachin sitting in second. Zane Rhodes behind in third, having to start having a big old think about what he needs to do here as they bring it out of the velodrome down onto the main straightaway. 3 laps to go here for KA3 Junior. And that previous lap exchange allows Dylan Guest to open up a healthy margin. 1.1 seconds is going to be unassailable here in the final. And Guesty is going to bring this one around into the teardrop. And with Sachin Smith Way's rear bumper somewhat dislodged, it raises a question about the remaining positions in the top 3. Whether he does receive an infringement for it, which may even bring Nash Ferraro as a chance onto the podium here. It's unfortunate for young Sachin, but I'm yet to make not to make a call. It's I'm a bit cloudy about the ruling with these rear bumpers nowadays, and so we'll leave it up to Karting Australia as they come through turn 1 and 2. It was 2 laps to go here. Their second to final lap, the penultimate for Dylan Guest. Out front from Sachin in second, Zane Rhodes behind in third. Then an air gap back to Zane Rhodes in P4 with Jack Parham hanging onto his tail in the Esprit Kart, rounding out your top 5 over Cad Davey, Jet McDonald, Toby Mayolo, Josh Nichols and Cooper Lyle. Your 10, unfortunately Cooper only made it for the first few laps out there and sitting on the sidelines watching on for the remainder. They bring it around the velodrome. Top 3 well and truly spread out now as Dylan Guest makes his way onto the main straightaway to start his final lap. 1 to go here for Dylan Guest out front in the 50 Ricardo Kart for Discount Leasing, GB Sport and All About Hoses. You could tell Guesty was on a mission this morning, even with that NASA panel getting all sorts of crooked and bent out of joint. He is still able to lead this one around. And Dylan Guest down towards Patrizi for the final time here in your KA3 Junior Final, brought to you by RNW Mining Services. Guesty feeds it into the velodrome and will hug that curb all the way around the right-hand side to bring it around. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as he runs it down the line. Dylan Guest wins KA3 Junior here in Kalgoorlie at the Dash for Cash. Sachin Smith Way across the line in second, Zane Rhodes third, Nash Ferraro fourth, and Jack Parham rounding out your top 5 here in KA3 Junior. Brought to you by RNW Mining Services. Jet McDonald across the line in 6, Kate Davey in 7. Toki Mayolo and Josh Nichols with Triple Isle rounding out the 10 on track. Look at your results there as we head to the in-grid in just a moment. This is your KA3 Junior Final for R&W Mining Services. Here with Dylan Guest. It wasn't pretty, but it was a scrappy race there in the top 3. Nice and tight between you guys. You managed to pick off the win and bring it home today, the Dash for Cash.
Yeah, Sachin was putting on the pressure at the start. He passed me, and I was following him, put it down the inside, and it was just sort of a little contact, but it's all right. Good race.
A solid result. Who do you have to thank, mate?
Discount Leasing, Enzo for bringing me down, Gabe for helping out, Eurotech, Flat Out Karts for that motor, and my dad.
Solid result. Dylan Guest, your KA3 Junior winner here in Kalgoorlie for the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. It's the first of 8 run and done. We're straight back into the next one out on track here at the Dash for Cash. Straight into it, we turn on into tag 125 heavy. Rolling around in formation and getting ready to go. They've got hands up and they are not going to get a start this time around. Your 125 heavies brought to you by International Lubricant Distributors here at Terra Mining Dash for Cash. Your starting grid for the 15-lap final here in tag 125 heavy. Jason Betts on the pole spot with Terence Flindell on the outside front row. Brenton Magri on P3 alongside Nathan Medham in P4 with Matthew Rossack P5. Nicholas Pascoe in 6. From Sam Richards in the 7 spot. Kim Smith in the 8. Nathan Will in 9. Over Mark Melosi and Paul Dean. Your 11 starting drivers here. Ben Harvey showing up on the 12 as well here. For tag 125 heavy, brought to you by International Lubricant Distributors. Here at the Dash for Cash at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club, brought to you by Terra Mining. As they feed their way onto the main straightaway, watch that red light to switch off and send us racing. Betsy looks across the racetrack and he opens up turn 1 nice and wide as Terence Flindell gets the old hip and shoulder through the field. He rejoins way down the back of the pack. But the number 6, Ricardo Kart, with some work to do here. Betsy moving across the racetrack to cover off that line. He will claim the lead over Brenton Magri into the 2nd spot. And it looks like it's the 7 of Pascoe in the 3rd here for the Comp Kart machine as they head down towards Patrici's for the first time. Jason Betts in this Flat Out Karts prepared OTK chassis. The 77 machine leading the way here for Betsy as he makes his way through the velodrome on this opening lap of racing. Watch out for Brenton Magri though. He'll be one to watch here in the final. He always seems to peak at the right point of the weekend as Brenton, as they come down past Canteen Corner. 1 down, 14 to go here in tag 125 heavy. Brought to you by International Lubricant Distributors. Behind them it's Magri in 2nd, Pascoe 3rd, Rossack 4th from Sam Richards in P5. Over Nathan Medham, Terence Flindell in the 7. Kim Smith and Paul Dean, Mark Melosi and Nathan Will, your 11 on track. Keeping an eye on this gap out front. Betsy on top, 3.2 tenths of a second clear of Brenton Magri in the morning sun here in Kalgoorlie. We should be set for a beautiful day of weather to go racing into and enjoy the sunshine this afternoon to wrap up a great weekend as they pour their way around the velodrome and onto the main straightaway. Magri is closer and now right onto the rear bumper of Jason Betts as they come through turn 1. And Magri fancies a chance at taking the top step here this weekend for the Dash for Cash. Not bad for being out of racing and in semi-retirement for quite a while. Made a comeback earlier in the year and had a great weekend. Now he's got the bit between his teeth again, working all over this rear bumper of Jason Betts, who's bouncing his way through the right-handers either side of the teardrop. As they bring it around into the velodrome. Brenton Magri, the fastest on track, of 47.005 as he peeks to the inside, looks to the outside. Classical game of go-karting peekaboo is Magri in that 2 spot. Looks to show a nose wherever he can here on Betsy to let him know he's there. They charge up the pit straight here. Nothing between them, although Betsy set the hot lap of the race last time across the line, a 46.7 that time across. The gap back to Pascoe now sitting 1.4 seconds. Pascoe under a little bit of pressure here from Matthew Rossack for 4th. With a gap further back there to Sam Richards, another 1.8 adrift in his battle with Nathan Medham for 5 and 6. So we've got 2 kart battle packs rolling their way around the velodrome as they fight out for your top 6 placings. It's Betsy and Magri now, who looks to the inside at turn 1 and he gets the job done up the hill and under brakes. Brenton Magri claims the race lead. Jason Betts tucking in behind him here. Now we'll see whether Magri has the pace to open up a gap or if Betsy's just going to sit on his rear bumper and wait for his moment towards the end of this 15-lapper. The Tag 125 Heavy brought to you by International Lubricant Distributors. Behind them, the fight for 3rd and 4th as well. Nicholas Pascoe and Matthew Rossack fighting it out here. Now a lap after the move being made for the race lead, Brenton Magri has been able to open up a kart length over Jason Betts as he soldiers his way around the circuit here at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Bringing it out of Patrizzi's, bouncing across the racetrack here, the number 85 MPM diesel Arrow machine. Battle for 3rd and 4th here. Nick Pascoe and Matthew Rossack fighting it out still as they bring it out of Patrizzi's and into the velodrome. Not far off crossing the halfway point here in Tag 125 Heavy, brought to you by International Lubricant Distributors. They race their way around the circuit, trying to chase down their share of $1,000 in prize money for the class here this weekend. So good to see big prize money up for grabs here in WA karting, in the richest race on the calendar here in Western Australia. And to think we gave away $13,000 in prize money last night for your 3 feature classes. One lucky Cadet 12 driver taking away a solid $1,500 for their win. $4,000 split across your Tag 125 restricted mediums. And then $3,000 to Nick Middick last night, taking out the win here in KZ2 for the $6,000 prize pool up for grabs in KZ2, brought to you by Terra Mining. As we continue watching this battle for third here. Pascoe v. Rossack, third and fourth on the road here, fighting it out up the pit straight. Pascoe just has some measure of Rossack right now, just by a little bit in the number 7 comp kart machine. Choose the fluoro. Love a bit of fluoro yellow in karting. As Pascoe holds down that 3 spot. It's still Magri and Betts out front by 0.6 of a second between them as we hit the halfway point. Last time across the stripe was 7 laps to go here. And down the line this time by 6 to go here as we continue following this battle between Nicholas Pascoe and Matthew Rossack in the fight for third. You can see the gap for the leaders as they charge up the pit straight behind them. 0.8 of a second separates them now. Nothing is going to get between Brent and Magri and that top step here this morning at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. So last time across the stripe, it was 5 laps to go here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash in Tag 125 Heavy, brought to you by International Lubricant Distributors. And this battle between Nicholas Pascoe and Matthew Rossack still fighting it out for third and fourth, as Brenton Magri out front has a 1 second advantage and continues to click off those hot laps. Magri with plenty of pace this morning here, has the measure of Jason Betts back there in second. We pick up your race leader, here he is. Brenton Magri in the 85 MPM diesel Arrow kart, charging his way onto the main straightaway, and it's going to be 3 laps to go here for Brenton. A little check over the shoulder, and you can see Betsy back behind. Skip Foster's Kart Force tuned X30 power. As he works his way around the circuit down towards the teardrop. Last time across, he was still 0.2 quicker than Betsy and pulled out a new hot lap of the race of 45.9 here in 125 Heavy. Through the velodrome, Magri in control here in 125 Heavy. Down the line, it's 2 laps to go here for Brenton Magri in the 85 machine as he leads away past Canteen Corner. 2 to go here in Tag 125 Heavy. Down the line with 1 to go here, Brenton Magri picks up the last lap board and is 1 lap from home here in Tag 125 Heavy, commanding a 1.8 second lead over Jason Betts in second as we pick him up through the teardrop in the 85 machine. Magri led a relatively quiet affair yesterday, a 5, a 3 and a 2 as he found his pace and peaked at the perfect time of the weekend. Here in the final though, he has control. as he fought to the back end of Jason Betts and charged his way forward. Macri through the chicane for the final time. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Brenton Macri wins tag 125 heavy here at the Dash for Cash. Jason Betts will grab that second spot, and a change in the fight for third here as they bring it down the line. Matthew Rotsack picks off Nicholas Pascoe for third on the podium here in tag 125 heavy. Pascoe home in fourth. And Terrence Lindau will be wondering what could have been as he rounds out the top 5 here in tag 125 heavy, brought to you by International Lubricant Distributors. Brenton Macri, your winner in tag 125 heavy. A fifth, a third, and a second yesterday. You knew this was coming today. You had plenty of pace in this final.
No, mate, I didn't know. I'll tell you what, I was struggling yesterday. We flipped the kart 3 times, and to get where we are, we're pretty much back where we are for qualifying. I just had to drive it, so done my best, had some fun, mate, and track's wicked, eh? I haven't been here for 8 years, and it's awesome.
A solid comeback for taking some time off in your karting career. You must be wanting to come back racing more often nowadays.
Oh, mate, I'd love to, but I tell you what, the fitness is killing me. I was struggling to breathe out there. I thought this is pretty bad, so I have to get some fitness up and see how we go for next year.
There you go. Anyone you'd like to thank for their efforts to get you on top this weekend here at the Dash for Cash?
Yeah, absolutely. The family, I can't do it without them. Empire Cycles and MPM Diesel, without them boys, I couldn't be out here.
Solid result. Brenton Macri, your winner here in tag 125 heavy here at the Dash for Cash, brought to you by Terra Mining at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Picking them up in these opening laps here of Tag 125 Light, brought to you by Kalgoorlie Case and Drill. Geez, there's no rest for the wicked out here. They are straight back into it. And Kieran Ellis from the pole spot is leading things out as they bring it around the velodrome. Look at the gap he has built already over Robert West in second and James McCucci-Allen in that third. Mason Fraser has worked his way up into the fourth spot now, getting one over Cody Loonan back there in P5 with Gabe Belanca in the sixth. Harrison Lang and Tim Conway 7 and 8 with Ella Litterly rounding out your 9. But it's all about Kieran Ellis on top, leading the way here in the number 39 Snap-on Tools KF Kart. As we pick him up, coming out of Patrizi's, a mistake there from Robert West. We just caught that in the number 9. Brings Makuchi Allen right up onto his rear bumper in the fight for second here. As Makuchi Allen on seniors debut, trying to chase him out here. This is one of Robert West's first event in seniors as well, and they're still on the sign language, tapping the helmets. But Makuchi Allen threads the needle up the inside at turn 1 and gets up to second now. West back to third, and Mason Fraser is right there in P4, wanting to pick up the pieces. Now Makuchi Allen tapping on the helmet. Sometimes I think it's actually sarcastic as they come through the teardrop. They're all trying to close that gap to Kieran Ellis, who's out front by 2.3 seconds over the rest of the field. West running himself way too deep into Patrizi's again here. Suffers through the middle and the exit, and that run around onto the velodrome. Behind him sits Mason Fraser and Cody Lunan, ready to pounce if he makes a mistake here. We're still very early stages in this race though. 4 down with 11 to go here in Tag 125 Light, brought to you by Kalgoorlie Case and Drill. Yesterday's heat races were all about Kieran Ellis. Mason Fraser with a trio of 4s. Sorry, 2 4s and a second as well. A couple of penalties handed out in the first heat race yesterday for Tag 125 Light. James Makuchi Allen with seconds and thirds yesterday finds himself in the running to be on the podium here in the 41 BRM kart as he heads down the line and past the canteen once again in his first event in seniors. Last time across the line, he's still hemorrhaging time to Kieran Ellis out front. Ellis on another planet this weekend here in Tag 125 Light, 3.2 seconds clear of Makuchi Allen in second. Robert West right on James's backside here as they come out of the teardrop and make their run down towards Patrizi's corner. Follow along, it's relatively processional through the field here in Tag 125 Light with only 9 of them in attendance this weekend. It's Ellis out front, Makuchi Allen in second. Now matching Ellis on pace around the track right now with Robert West right behind matching as well. 45.7 for Ellis, 45.67 for Makuchi Allen, 45.65 for Robert West. Mason Fraser on a 7.8. Cody Lunan with a 6.0. Gabe Belanca with a 5.9. The fastest behind a couple of drivers. He'd be very happy if he can get one up over and get past them here on track as they bring it down the line. It is 8 laps to go now. Kieran Ellis leads the way here in 125 Light, brought to you by Kalgoorlie Case and Drill. Picking him up here with 5 laps left to go. Still James McCooch-Allen hanging on to second here from Robert West in third. And it looks like West just doesn't have that little bit extra he needs to get up onto the rear bumper of McCooch-Allen and challenge him for second. He might have to sit back here and settle for third in this morning's final for Tag 125 Light. Brought to you by Kalgoorlie Case and Drill. Meanwhile, it's a quiet affair out front, but Kieran Ellis will be grinning as he leads away in the number 39 Snap-on Tools KF Kart with a hot lap of the race of a 49.5. Ellis out to a 3.2 second advantage over the rest of the field. To pick up McCooch-Allen through turn 1, working the wheel of the BRM kart. Not quite able to replicate the success of Cooper Cutts, his fellow BRM teammate last night, or even that of Nick Middick in KZ2, but a solid debut here for McCooch-Allen into the senior ranks in 125 Light. After stepping out of the junior ranks, he raced in KA2 and took out the West Australian KA2 Championship at their, what was ending up being their final round at Coburn International Raceway a few weeks ago for the City of Perth titles. KA2 were due to race this weekend here, but unfortunately did not achieve the numbers that they needed to go racing here in the class. So McCooch-Allen decides to step into the senior ranks and go racing with Tag 125 Light and do it on a sticky tyre with a yellow backing to his number. Meanwhile, behind them, Mason Fraser and Cody Loonan fighting over the minors in 4th and 5th. With Gabe Belanca in 6, Harrison Lang in 7, Timothy Conway in the 8, with Ella Littley rounding out your 9 as we run down these final few laps here. Pick him up with Kieran Ellis. He's led a very quiet affair out front on a bit of a cruisy drive this morning, and he's a bit of hand signals to Dad here, Mick, on the sidelines watching on. As James McCooch-Allen has claimed the fastest lap of the race, a 49.500. But a 2.8 second deficit tells the story here as Ellis leads away down into Patrizi for the second to final time. Wrapping it round into the velodrome, the 39 KF kart. If there's a way to lose a race, Kieran has experienced it in his karting career. But he'll be damn sure that he'll make sure this one will happen this morning here in Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. 1 to run here for Kieran Ellis down the line as he brings it around on his final lap of the circuit. Ellis has been on a mission all weekend, and he is on his way to wrapping up a clean sweep of the weekend here. Not bad for someone who said to me a couple of months ago, I'm not sure whether I'll keep racing. He makes a return here in Kalgoorlie through Patrizi for the final time. The KF kart putting in the work as he brings it through the velodrome on his final lap here down the line. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Kieran Ellis wins 125 Light here in Kalgoorlie. Your Dash for Cash winner here in Tag 125 Light. James McCooch-Allen on his seniors debut comes home in second with the fastest lap of the race as well. And Robert West rounds out your podium in third from Mason Fraser in fourth. Cody Loonan in P5 over Gabriel Belanca, Harrison Lang 6th and 7th. Timothy Conway in the 8th there. Ella Littley missing out on lap 4 here, down in P9. Kieran Ellis. He was a bit disappointed he didn't get his interview yesterday, but you finally wrapped things up here at the Dash for Cash. You're now a 125 light winner here in Kalgoorlie.
Yeah, I've got to say it's so awesome. We spent all Friday night here. We were the last one here at the tag class, just testing, trying to find what we needed. And I've got to give it all to my dad and the team. Without them, I wouldn't be on this top step today. And I've got to say, great race by all these other boys. They played it smart all weekend and it really helped me out in the end. And I just got to thank everyone watching, all my family over in Adelaide, my family back home, Mum, Connor. I'd just like to thank all of you for watching, and yeah, it's been an absolutely awesome weekend back. I'm so glad I came back for this one.
There you have it, Kieran Ellis, your 125 light winner here for Kalgoorlie Case and Drill at the Dash for Cash in Kalgoorlie. Congratulations, mate. A dominant performance by this guy all weekend. Won all his heat races and takes it out for the prize money here in the final in Kalgoorlie. Back round into tag 125 restricted light here. We are on for the fourth class of finals and we are underway already. Lights out and racing here. 125 restricted light brought to you by First National Real Estate and MLG. And it's Jacob Potts from the pole spot here, leading things out pretty convincingly in these opening stages already as they bring it down into the teardrop. Pottsy in the OTK from Sebastian Fiorenza into that second spot. And they're fighting over and behind him. It looks like it's James Coburn behind in that 87 machine. Coburn managed to claim himself a heat race win yesterday. In the second heat, he's finished in all three positions across the top three throughout the heat races. He'd love to finish on top here this morning, but it looks like Pottsy has control of the field right now after a first, a second, and a first in the heat races yesterday. Put him on pole for the final here this morning. That 81 machine down the line. There was a flag being hung out for someone there at the starter's gantry. I didn't see exactly what the message was to the drivers. I feel like it was a specific one. Attenuating to a certain driver's behaviour. We'll pick him up as Pottsy leads the way. Sebastian Fiorenza in second here. Coburn in third from Jamie Taylor in the fourth spot. Riley Casson-Roberts in the 5 from Cassie Linto in the 6. Darren Williams in the 7 here. Wade Saunders in the 8 from Mark Melosi and Rob Mason. We have lost David Thompson, Amy Dublin and Damien Sealander out of running here in the remaining places. As we pick up with Jamie Taylor in the number 70 Energy Course Kart. Down the line, Jamie currently holding down the 4th spot here. As a pass there from Mark Melosi in the 78 machine on Tyron Williams. Up the inside at turn 1 here. And this is the battle for second and third. Sebastian Fiorenza still holding on to that 2 spot ahead of the 87 of James Coburn behind him. But it looks like it's already turned into a processional affair here in tag 125 restricted light for their final. Hitting the halfway point of the finals, not even an hour into it. Here at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club for the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. It looks like Coburn is closing the gap onto the back of Fiorenza. He goes for a very late look and he pulls up alongside. Fiorenza saw him coming. Got up on the wheel and tried to hold him out. Now he's trying to block the inside line already, but Coburn's having none of it. Slips to the inside at the entry to the teardrop. James Coburn goes to second here. Fiorenza getting bumped down to the 3rd spot. battle on here between Riley Casson-Roberts and Casey Linto, fighting it out. Riley dropped the wheel coming on the main straightaway. Linto trying to cover off that line through turn 2, but they are going wheel to wheel, banging side pods to fight it out in these remaining placings as they charge up the pit straight. This is really for the minor placings, 5, 6, and 7 on the road as Mark Malosi joins the fight there. Right behind him in that 78 machine. Up the road, Jacob Potts leads the way, 1.7 clear of James Coburn. He's thrown down the fastest lap of the race, a 49.757. Pottsy with a 47.905, 47.757. The hot lap of the race. Malosi looks to the inside. Oh, that was a big one there. Up the inside and caught the inside of the 22 of Riley Casson-Roberts. And that brought him unstuck, unfortunately, at the teardrop. And Roberts was venting his frustration quite a bit. Certainly has something to say about that one, as Malosi now will elevate himself up a spot as a result, as they bring it around onto the main straightaway. 125 restricted light, brought to you by First National Kalgoorlie and MLG. Still Jacob Potts out front, but that gap is starting to wither away here. With 8 laps to go, not even at the halfway point here, and James Coburn is on a mission to close down this gap to Jacob Potts out front. 1.1 seconds it sits right now for this man, Jacob Potts in the 81 Tony Kart machine. He has had the gap up close to 2 seconds over Coburn in second, but now it starts to dwindle down. Coburn is on a mission trying to close down that lead here for Pottsy out front. With these restricted X30 power plants. Coburn behind in that 2 spot. The gap goes to 1.2 seconds. Last time across the line, he gave away a little bit of time again here from Sebastian Fiorenza back there in 3rd. Jamie Taylor in the 4th spot. Casey Linto rounding out the 5. We hit the halfway point. Oh, James Coburn runs himself off the road, pushing too hard here in the 87 machine. We caught that just at the back of it here, and Linto losing out. Sorry, Coburn losing out, giving away some time. So this gap for Pottsy will expand now, and he will have a much bigger lead coming around this one. It goes down to 1.5 seconds now for Jacob Potts out front. In control of this one so far for Tag 125 Restricted Light, brought to you by First National Kalgoorlie and MLG. Running down these final few laps here, it's a very processional race here in 125 Restricted Light. But Pottsy will be driving the race of his life out front, enjoying this one in the 81 Tony Kart machine, as he leads out a 1.7 second advantage over James Coburn in that second spot. Coburn back there in P2. Sebastian Fiorenza another 1.5 seconds further back in P3. There's even gaps across your top three on track right now. Potsy working his way through the velodrome and into the chicane to wrap it around onto the main straightaway here. This time by, it's 3 laps to go here in tag 125 restricted line. Picking up with Jacob Potts with just about a lap and a bit to go as he makes his way into the velodrome for the second to final time. He may have been saved by Coburn's mistake, taking away the battle that we may have seen for the lead, but he's been in control all race long here as Pottsy hits the line. 1 to go here for Jacob Potts out front here in tag 125 restricted line. Coburn back there in second, Sebastian Fiorenza in third. As they bring it around and down into the teardrop for the final time here. Down towards Patrizzi for the final time here. Jacob Potts on his way to capping off a fantastic weekend here in his own turf in Kalgoorlie in 125 restricted line. Into the chicane for the final time. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Jacob Potts wins 125 restricted line here. Brought to you by First National Real Estate and MLG for the Dash for Cash. James Coburn home in second. Sebastian Fiorenza home in third. Over Jamie Taylor in the fourth spot. And Cassie Linto running out your top 5 here in 125 restricted line.
Roberts.
Here with Jacob Potts, a win this weekend here in 125 restricted line. Just has to cap off a great year of karting for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been a really good year and it was a really good weekend, so I'm pretty happy.
Solid pace. Were you worried about James at all throughout the race, just watching back and seeing him starting to close that gap at bits?
Yeah, I was sort of just making sure I had enough of a gap and just really focusing on hitting my marks every lap, so we did it in the end.
A solid one, mate. Who do you have to thank for their efforts to get you out here today?
Massive thanks to Daryl. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do this. Dad for paying the bills, and everyone else. Thank you.
Congratulations. Jacob Potts, your 125 restricted light winner here in Kalgoorlie. That is the halfway point of the finals here at the Dash for Cash. We are back into it, and it's KA4 Junior out on track getting ready for their 15-lap final. Picking up with KA4 Junior, brought to you by KM Fabrications, as they roll around and get ready for their final. One man that was very eager to get to bed early last night so he could be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go this morning. Connor Radford in that number 21 machine, starting on the pole spot this morning, alongside Noah Byrne on the front row of the grid for your KA4 Junior Final, ahead of Jet McDonald in third, Roman Jacopetti in fourth, over Clark, Booker, Nichols, De Jong, Jeffrey, Casson Roberts and Rebecca Waite here as Radford gets away from the field on this opening lap here, already leading things out. Noah Byrne back to that second spot. It looks like McDonald followed by Jacopetti as they come into the pit straight. A couple getting caught up further behind there. That's the 48 of Michaela Jeffries caught up in that incident there. Unfortunate for these ones to get caught up so early into a 15-lap final as they make their way down to Patrizi's for the first time. We follow Roman Jacopetti under pressure from the 6 Tony Kart of Lucas Clark. Lucas looking like he's running a Cadet front nose cone. That is the tiniest nose cone I've seen on a junior kart. That is certainly a Cadet nose cone, actually, bolted to the front of Lucas Clark's Tony Kart machine as they hit the main straightaway. Entirely the opposite to what we're seeing here is one of the Kartco kids. It was the Kartco kid. Leroy Toon at Hurricane Go-Kart Club had a Cadet kart attached to the back of a senior nose cone, the biggest nose cone you've ever seen on a Cadet. This is the opposite of that. Joshua Nichols in the Tony Kart, putting the pressure onto the back of Roman Jacopetti in the 57 BRM kart as they make their way down towards Patrizi's again. It's Connor Radford out front. He's got a 1 second advantage over Noah Byrne in that second spot already. With another 9.7 tenths back to Jet McDonald. With a 6 tenths of a second gap back to Roman here. Then from Josh Nichols and Lucas Clark. So Nichols in the 9 Tony Kart. Clark is in the 6 Deadly Kart behind them. Flynn Booker at the back end of this group here. It's a 4-kart group chasing each other around for 4, 5, 6 and 7 on the road. Madison De Jong in the 8. Ava Casson Roberts in the 9 from Rebecca Waite in the 10. Michaela Jeffries running out your 11 on track here in KA4 Junior. Brought to you by KM Fabrications. And it's Connor Radford leading things out front. Enjoying watching this scrap though through the midfield between Jacopetti, Nichols, Clark and Booker out of Patrizi. Roman has a bit of a gap over them here. But it looks like Clark is starting to try and close up and put the pressure onto the back of Nichols as they come out of the velodrome through the chicane and onto the main straight. As we follow them around and into the teardrop. Looks like now Clark trying to make the move on Nichols. He gets the Deadly Kart up the inside and grabs that 5 spot from Nichols in the Tony Kart, pushing him down to P6. Now the 34 Corsa Kart of Booker looking to make a move here. He looks to the high side through the velodrome. It's never going to work up there with these karts. And he'll tuck back in behind. So the move being made here by Clark. Now he can set his sights forward onto the back of the 57 of Roman's BRM kart. Trying to hang on to that 4 spot here. Jacopetti under pressure now from Lucas Clark in the number 6 Deadly Kart. Coming out of the teardrop. Clark looking to replicate the move he made a lap ago here to go up to P5. Jacopetti off the road, and they are almost switching around on the way down towards Patrizi's. Roman hangs tight and holds on to the spot here. They bring it through the velodrome. Jacopetti still hanging on to this 4 spot at the moment. Wants to be the best of the rest in the minor placings. Meanwhile, behind these two, we pick up the 9 of Nichols and Booker in the 34 fighting it out as they come through Canteen Turn. And it's 5 laps completed, 10 to go here in KA4 Junior Light, brought to you by KM Fabrications. Up the inside goes Lucas Clark, and we saw him sniffing around at it a lap ago. This time he makes it stick. He likes that late lunge into the right-hander. And Clark elevates himself up into 4th spot now, pushing Yakapeti down to P5. Booker has moved the number 9 Tony Kart of Nichols aside. And Booker up to P6, Nichols down to 7. In this midfield battle here for 4, 5, 6 and 7 down the main straightaway. Meanwhile, Connor Radford leads out comfortably over Noah Byrne in 2nd, Jet McDonald in 3rd. The battle for the midfield placing still not over either. Looks like Josh Nichols in the number 9 Tony Kart looking for a way around the 34 of Flynn Booker as they work their way down towards Patrizi's, coming up to the halfway point very soon here. This is KA4 Junior for their final, brought to you by KM Fabrications. Picking up and following along with the number 11 of Noah Byrne. Currently holding down that 2 spot through the velodrome. Noah, 4.8 seconds off the back of your race leader, Connor Radford, who's doing it in style out front. Nice and comfortable with his lead that he has here this morning for their final. Meanwhile, Noah, a happy young boy to be on track for his first open podium. As this man, Connor Radford, leads the way. He's nice and comfy out front, just doing his thing on a Sunday morning here in Kalgoorlie. Working his way around down towards Patrizi's in that flat-out karts machine. Radford only recently making the step into the KA4 Junior ranks, coming out of Cadet 12. The ripe old age of 11, the youngest in the field, making his presence felt here in KA4 Junior. He's going to be one to watch in the coming year of 2022, and I'm sure it's only going to be a matter of time if he isn't already asking if he can go play in KA3 with the big kids as he works his way around and onto the pit straight here. Radford in the 21 machine up the pit straight. He's not even using all of the road to get it done here. Sticking to a nice smooth line. He is hot lapping the field by half a second out here. Radford storming away with the lead here, out to a 6-second advantage over this young man, Noah Byrne, in the 11 machine. As we're just a moment away from being 5 laps to go here, Byrne sliding his way across the racetrack down at Patrizi's. Working his way around through the velodrome and down the line to make it 5 laps to go here. Noah Byrne holding down 2nd here in KA4 Junior, brought to you by KM Fabrications. Jet McDonald having a very quiet race of his own here in 3rd. As your leaders are well and truly spread out around the track over the course of their 15-lap final here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. 3 laps to go. Last time by for Connor Radford as he came across the line. We picked up Noah Byrne coming up the hill here in the number 11 Flat Out Karts machine, just trying to work his way around some of the lap traffic as he gets around the outside of Rebecca Waite. Noah Byrne on his way to the podium here this morning. Here in the Goldfields as Connor Radford continues his dominant performance in the KA4 light category. Out to a trio of race wins in the heat races and on his way to claiming his share and the lion's share of the $1,000 worth of prize money up for grabs this weekend as he works his way up the pit straight and into the teardrop. We catch him from the other side this time, down the hill and working their way around this long left-hander through the teardrop and down into Patrizi's corner. We are a lap and a half from home here in KA4 Junior, and Connor Radford is a lap and a half away from claiming some prize money here in the Goldfields. And I look forward to seeing this kid in the new year in the full fields of juniors that come out in 2022 and what he can do amongst a big crowd in his WA karting career as he starts his final lap. 1 to go here for Connor Radford as he brings his way onto the pit straight. Radford on his final tour of the circuit. Noah Byrne back there in the 2 spot, having a comfortable old Sunday morning drive here. Looking at a podium in second. Jet McDonald on for a run to third. Radford brings it around oh so comfortably, almost to a 10-second lead, emulating that of Cooper Cutts, who won our 125 restricted medium feature class last night under lights here across their 20-lap final. Radford has done it in shorter time as he makes his way down to the line. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Connor Radford is your KA4 Junior winner here in the number 21 machine. Radford takes the win here. Noah Byrne home in second as he comes down to the line. And Jet McDonald will run it down to the line to round out your podium in third. We're here. Here with your top 3 here in KA4 Junior. We'll start Connor Radford, a dominating win all weekend long. You take home some prize money, mate, you're going to be happy.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Absolutely stoked.
Anyone you have to thank for their efforts to get you out there and on top this weekend?
Flat Out and my dad.
See, there you go, Flat Out and Dad for spinning spanners. Noah Byrne in his first podium appearance here in KA4. Congratulations, mate. You're going to be happy with that.
Yeah, very happy.
You've got a very proud mum who's watching on. She seems more stoked than you are right now. Who do you want to thank for their efforts?
Mum and Dad for getting us here, and Josh for being there.
And Josh for being there, I guess. I like it. Jet McDonald on the podium as well here in the Swiss Atlas machine. A solid result, mate. You happy with that?
Yeah, I had a good weekend. Couldn't keep up to these two, but had a great time.
There you have it. This is your KA4 Junior podium. Connor Radford taking the win from Noah Byrne and Jet McDonald here at the Dash for Cash at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. We're back on with a few more to go here for your finals here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. KA3 Senior Heavy on track and getting ready to go racing here. KA3 Senior Heavy brought to you by Boys Equipment. As we get set to go, it is Simon Minton, who took a step back to running just one class this weekend while spinning spanners on about 4 or 5 other KZs as part of the Simon Minton Motorsport, helping our KZ series flourish with some support for these young drivers looking to excel their karting careers. He starts on the pole spot here alongside Rodney Jameson on the front row. Len McDougall on P3 with David Mackey in P4, Jaden Keeville P5 over Jackie Maroney in P6. Todd Shearer in 7 over Tony Arambasic in the 7 spot. Sorry, in the 8. Kim Lawrence in the 9 over Benjamin Langan in the 10. And Jason Allen rounding out your 11 here as Minton sets the pace in the Still Stick It Up ex-Josh Byrne 86 machine as they get a lights-out start here. Bit of touch and go up to turn 1. But Minton will get through clean here as they're still fighting over the remaining placings. Oh, bit into each other, and there's a couple off in the dirt. Rejoin and fight, live to fight another day here. It's Minton leading out from the 18 of Rodney Jameson. Now David Mackey up into 3rd here as they run down towards Patrizzi for the first time. Your top 3 already breaking away from the rest of the field behind him here. Minton, Jameson and Mackey through the velodrome with a daylight gap back to the rest of them behind in 4, 5, 6 and beyond for your 11 kart field. But Simon Minton leads the way down the straightaway on lap 1 here of KA3 Senior Heavy, brought to you by Boys Equipment. Running through these opening few laps, and it's all about Simon Minton out front here in KA3 Senior Heavy, working his way around the circuit in charge of the field right now, the number 86 machine with the fast lap of the race of 48.950 and 1.6 seconds clear of Rodney Jameson back there in 2nd. Another 0.6 of a second back to David Mackey in the 3rd spot here. Over Keeville in P4, Aaron Basic in the 5, and Todd Shearer, Jackie Maroney, Kim Lawrence, Jason Allen, Len McDougall, and it looks like we have lost Benjamin Langan, only completing a handful of laps, or only a lap actually, in this final here for KA3 Senior Heavy, brought to you by Boys Equipment. Looks like nobody's going to be able to touch Minton out front here in your KA3 Senior Heavies for the Terra Mining Dash for Cash here in 2021 at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. picking up. A bit of a battle happening for the minor placings here. Todd Shearer in the 12th machine under pressure from Jackie Maroney. This is the fight for 6th and 7th on the road as they charge up the pit straight. The all-green of Maroney now fires it up the inside of the right-hander. Shearer is going to sneak back through and pick him off again here. And they'll hang on to where they are. Maroney was one of those ones off the road on the opening lap of racing and is looking for redemption through your KA3 Senior Heavy Finals. We are only 6 laps in, 9 to go. Next time by for your leaders coming down the line. Sorry, 10 to go even. So 5 down, 10 to go. As we've picked up for the battle for third here, David Mackey under pressure from Jaden Keevil in the 78 machine. Trying to put the pressure on here to get up onto the podium and stake his claim to some of the money available up for grabs. $1,000 in prize money up for grabs here in KA3 Senior Heavy. Great to put money up for grabs here in the Dash for Cash, which is why it has the namesake. Here at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club, brought to you by Terra Mining here in 2021. Keevil right on his rear bumper as they come out of Patrici. Starting to come to a head as they get into the velodrome and start to fight it out. Keevil looking at the inside, but can't make it happen just yet. Doesn't quite have the legs down the straightaway, but Mackey just about ran himself off the road. And Keevil almost did in response as well. So these guys putting everything down they can here to fight it out. As they come up to some lap traffic here. The number 7 of Jason Allen going a lap down through your field. And now Keevil can set his sights forward once again on putting the pressure onto the back of the 23 of Mackey, trying to chase him around the circuit. See what he can get done here in KA3 Senior Heavy, brought to you by Boys Equipment. Now Keevil has another peek to the inside. Can't get there yet though, and he'll stay back there in P4, trying to chase down a podium result as we're running our laps down and down every time they click them off. This last time across was 6 laps remaining here in your KA3 Senior Heavy Final, brought to you by Boys Equipment here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. Now Keevil looks to the inside and he gets it done on Mackey. And the 78 machine, that cosmic card of Keevil, now up into third. Puts Mackey down to P4 here as they come out of Patrici and into the velodrome. Now Keevil's released. Look at the gap he's already put on Mackey here, breaking away in that 78 cart. It will claim third and rocket on down. It's 5 laps to go. And as we say that, Keevil just had his one hand on that third place trophy today, but gave it away again and ended up losing out to Mackey, who's grabbed third off him. Meanwhile, Rodney Jameson in the 18 machine having a very quiet affair in second, unable to challenge Minton up front. But too quick for the guys behind. Jameson circulating his way around the circuit on a Sunday morning cruise on a run to second so far. As Minton runs it down the line with 4 laps to go. This time by for Minton. He's just 4 laps away from claiming some prize money for himself here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. Last time by was 3 laps to go. The fight is still on for the podium though. Mackey and Keyville fighting it out down towards Patrizzi's. Keyville wants that 3rd place to get onto the podium and score himself some money as they come out of Patrizzi's. It's the biggest motivator in any form of sport is money. Money and glory as they come out of the velodrome. This time by, it'll be 2 laps to go here as they run it down the line. Mackey still hanging on to that 3 spot, but Keyville is coming, chasing him down the straight. Can't draw alongside as they climb the hill here at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club, but up out of the tight section past the canteen. They run it around as Simon Minton continues to lead things out here in this 86 machine. Through the velodrome, Simon Minton well and truly out front and in control of this race as he starts his final lap. 1 to go here for Minton. Actually could be 2 to go here for Minton. Oh no, it is 1 to go. Finally resets here. Our timing system being a little bit behind the ball here this morning, but Minton is on his final lap here as he comes up on the lap traffic of Jason Allen in that number 7 Birrell machine. Bit of old school Birrell here for Allen. He goes a lap down to your leader again as Minton runs his way around the final laps of this final here for KA3 Senior Heavy. Out of Patrizzi for the final time and turning it into the velodrome. In KA3 Senior Heavy, brought to you by Boys Equipment. Onto the main straightaway, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. Simon Minton wins KA3 Senior Heavy at the line here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. Rodney Jameson across the line here in 2nd, and it looks like it was David Mackey who ended up winning out for the podium here in 3rd over Jaden Keyville in 4th, and Jackie Maroney rounding out your top 5 in KA3 Senior Heavy, brought to you by Boys Equipment. Here with Simon Minton, your KA3 Senior Heavy winner. It's a grueling 20 laps out there to wield these things around. He still managed to take it out by about 5 seconds over the rest of the field, though. A solid way to cap off your weekend.
Yeah, no, it was good. The kart's mint. I just got to thank the Burns family for lending the kart. Kart was pretty mint, actually. Yeah, pretty happy.
A solid one to take away some prize money and cap off what's been a big weekend for you, not only driving here this weekend, but also spinning spanners on multiple KZ karts and helping out all your mates throughout the fields here.
Yeah, it's been a busy weekend. Like I said yesterday, I kind of bit off a bit more than I can chew, so glad to see the end of it. recoup a little bit of money of what the weekend's going to cost, but it's fantastic. This is my favourite meeting of the year. Always love coming to Kalgoorlie and doing the dash. They always put on a show. Hopefully we can make it even bigger and better next year.
Looking forward to it, mate. Congratulations, Simon Minton, your winner here in KA3 Senior Heavy, as it looks like Cadet 9's out on track getting ready for their 20-lap final here at the Dash for Cash at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Cadet 9 getting out on track and getting ready to go here. Brought to you by State West Group and Gen West here at the Dash for Cash. Brought to you by Terra Mining, the youngest field of drivers with 13 of them coming out to play this weekend. Cadet 9 is the first step in the ranks of any form of karting here in Australia. You can go racing or go practicing at the age of 6, racing from the age of 7. We do have a couple of 7-year-olds in the field in the form of Alyssa McDougall and Jake Estecki here. Just 7 years old. In your Cadet 9's field, they've got a long time ahead of them in this class. But at the moment, it's Connor Mayer on the pole spot here. Mayer at 9 years old, a double state champion. Of course, WA champ and Tasmania champ. Starting on the pole spot here alongside Bo Casagrande on the outside front row. Chase Saxfield on P3 with Joel Blackman on the 4 spot here. Jake Estecki will start from P5 with Declan Arambesic on the 6 spot. George Emsley from P7. Taj McDonald from the 8, from Levi Reffel in the 9. TJ Moynihan in the 10 spot over Austin Anderson. And Jensen Richards as we bring it around onto the main straightaway and get the field slotting into their tram lines. The lights go out and we get to go racing here. Mayer from the pole spot is going to drag Chase Saxfield with him here. Casagrande is going to go down to that 3 spot. Under pressure now from Jake Estecki. And it looks like the 8 of Aaron Basic and the BRM cart slotting in there. Casagrande is getting shuffled back very quickly as Joel Blackman filters his way through as well. They get underway here in Cadet 9. Brought to you by State West Group and Gen West here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. It's Connor Mayer out front here from Bo Casagrande in second and Chase Saxfield in that 3rd spot down towards Patrizzi's for the first time. Saxfield fancies a run at Mayer here in the final. He's been all there all weekend long with only a pair of 3rds though. Casagrande was hot to trot in second throughout yesterday's heat races. But getting caught up in these opening laps, Casagrande has some work to do here in this Cadet 9 final. It's Mayer and Saxfield out front here. The flat-out karts number 43 machine ahead of the 3KF in that 2nd spot. Jake Estecki, the youngster in the 58 machine. That Tony Kart back there in 3rd as they bring it into the pit straight for the 2nd time here in your Cadet 9 final. Oh, and a couple caught up at the bottom of the pit straight. That's unfortunate. We got a couple of spinners back there. And we got another spinner, the 8 BRM cart of young Declan Arambasic getting caught up and facing the wrong direction on the exit of the teardrop, it seems. That was unfortunate. Declan was on the back of Taj McDonald in the 2 machine. I think they might have been earlier caught up in that incident at the bottom of the pit straight. And getting caught up again is certainly not what you want here as Connor Mayer continues to lead things out. Chase Saxfield trying to chase him down in second. Last time across, Mayer, the fastest on track, a 52.6. Saxfield to a 52.7 and half a second between them as they climb the pit straight in front of the outgrid. 1st and 2nd on the road with Jake Estecki back there in 3rd. And now Bo Casagrande in the 4th spot with a 1.1 second deficit to try and make up to get that 77 flat-out karts machine back onto the top 3 and take his place on the podium if he can get one up over Jake Estecki in the 58 Tony Kart as they come out of Patrizzi's and into the velodrome. The velodrome dwarfing these youngsters as they rock these little cadet carts through the big banked oval section here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. The velodrome would be fantastic for some outright speed dome kind of racing. gear them up and let them wind themselves right out. Like your Saturday night Middle American NASCAR kind of race, super late models and well and modifieds alike. Do it in go-karts, so that'll be way fun. As they come out of the teardrop, Maya leading from Saxfield in second here in Cadet 9, brought to you by State West Group and Gen West. Picking up your leaders as they make their way through the velodrome. It looks like Chase Saxhill doesn't quite have an answer for Connor Mayer here as they hit the main straightaway, and it's 6 laps completed, 9 to go here in Cadet 9, brought to you by State West Group and Gen West. Mayer leading out from Saxhill in second. Bo Casagrande has found his way up over the top of Jake Kostecki for third. Young Jay going down to P4 here, and Taj McDonald rounding out your top 5 as we look to Casagrande coming up the pit straight here with Kostecki back there in the 4th spot. That number 58 Eurotech Tony Kart machine. These youngsters, they spread themselves out around the track pretty quickly with a big spread through the field here. As they come through the Patrizi's corner, Casagrande in the 77 machine, making his way into the velodrome. He holds down third right now in your Cadet 9 final here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash, with just 8 laps to go this time across, approaching that halfway point here in your Cadet 9 final. Catching up on this battle here in the fight for P5. Taj McDonald under pressure here from Joel Blackman, who I believe might have been caught up at that incident at the bottom of the pit straight earlier in the race. Blackman gets it done on the main straight and grabs the 5 spot here, setting his sights forward if he can try and chase down Jake Kostecki further up the road. Great drive from young Joel here in the Blackman fabrication machine. Young Joel going from strength to strength here in Cadet 9. He was so young in this field, but he's got time on his side here through his karting career, and family will continue to support him and his progress through the Cadet 9 ranks as he works his way into the 4th spot around the velodrome. Last time across, Blackman was down in, P5. Blackman down in P6. This is P5 across the line here. Blackman with a 14-second margin to make up onto the back of Jake Estecchi to challenge for 4th. This is going to be where he will stay here, while Connor Mayer leads away from Chase Saxfield in 2nd and Bo Casagrande in 3rd. Jake Estecchi holding down that 4th spot, and this young man, Joel Blackman, in P5 here in Cadet 9, brought to you by State West Group and Gen West here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. On screen right now with young Bo Casagrande in the 77 machine. He holds down 3rd here in that flat-out karts entry, making his way down the main straightaway. And he is 4 laps from home here and getting onto the podium here in Cadet 9. And staking his claim for 3rd prize this weekend and $1,000 worth of prize money put up for grabs as we pick up the leader, Connor Mayer, the double state champ in the 43 flat-out karts machine, leading the way out front here on his way to claiming the lion's share of the prize money, $1,000 up for grabs here in Cadet 9, as he leads out by 2.7 seconds over Chase Saxfield back there in that 2nd spot. Saxfield throwing down a solid run though, down to a hot lap of 52.684. About a 10th separates them on hot laps here between Connor Mayer and Chase Saxfield back there in 2nd, and some distance between them on the main straightaway. Saxfield working his way through some lap traffic, just getting one up on the 12 of TJ Moynihan as they make their way past the canteen once again. 3 laps to go this time by. We follow Chase Saxfield for a moment and back to Connor Mayer as he approaches the back of one of the BRM carts. This is the 8 of young Declan Arambasic, about to go a lap down to your race leader here, and Declan probably isn't sure where Connor is right now in that BRM cart. Beautifully presented machines, the orange and chrome, as Mayer looks to the inside. Oh, they get together, and Declan running his line, and they are into the leaders. This is lap traffic, getting caught up with Connor Mayer, your race leader. And Connor venting his frustration at that one and just showing, come on mate, what are you doing? As he's trying to get his way through here and continue leading this one out. As they come down the straight and past the canteen, they collide again at turn 1 here. Connor Mayer gets through, continues to lead this way around in your Cadet 9 final. 2 laps to go last time across for Connor Mayer. Running it down the line here, Connor Mayer starts his final lap of the race here in Cadet 9s. 1 to go here for Mayer, working his way around the circuit. He makes his his way through the teardrop on his final tour of the circuit. That 43 flat-out karts machine has been dominant this weekend here in Cadet 9, on his way to adding another one to his name and a bit of prize money and a check to hang on the wall here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. Chase Saxfield, a solid weekend so far in second, with Bo Casagrande on the podium here as he brings it around onto the main straightaway. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Connor Mayer, your Dash for Cash winner here in Cadet 9, brought to you by State West Group and Gen West. Mayer takes home the win here in the lion's share of the prize money over Chase Saxfield in second and Bo Casagrande on the podium in third today here in Cadet 9 at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. Here with your Cadet 9 winner, Connor Mayer, a dominant performance here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Another win to your name. It's got to feel good to take home some prize money. Where are you going to put that big check on your bedroom wall?
Well, that's the problem. Right now I've kind of run out of space in my room. I've got no more room on my wall to put any more shelves. So
that's all right. I'm sure Mum and Dad will hook you up. They'll sort you out with someone to put the check. The prize money taking it home this weekend. Who do you have to thank for their efforts to get you on the top step here in Cadet 9?
My mum and dad, my little brother, my family, anyone who supported me, Flat Out Karts and Sam Dicker Motorsport.
There you have it, Connor Mayer, your winner here in Cadet 9 at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. We'll get these guys through the scales. KA3 Senior out on track for their final as the last race for the weekend here at the Dash for Cash. On track with your last one of the weekend. It's KA3 Senior at championship weight, brought to you by Hitchcock Engineering as they get out and get ready to go racing here for their final 20 laps on the board here for the KA3 Seniors, and it's Tommy Sparks starting on the pole spot here. Taylor Dicker on the outside front row with Ryan Nicholson on P3, Mason Fraser on P4, Michael Jonesy Jones, the veteran, from P5 alongside Bree Rhodes on P6 as we get going up towards turn 1. Sparks, he just slots through as the race leaders up. Bree Rhodes gets up in the air, sandwiched between Mason Fraser and Michael Jones. They all get going again here, but Mason Fraser is the big loser out of that one. He's going to lose a few spots at the start. Meanwhile, out front, Tommy Sparks breaking away already here from Taylor Dicker back there in second. Ryan Nicholson into the third spot now with Jason Betts moving his way up into P4 as they head down towards Patrizzi for the first time. It's Hitchcock Engineering presenting KA3 Senior Championship here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Bringing it down for the finals. This is where it pays to be a winner on a Sunday morning here in Kalgoorlie, in Gold Country, where you take a risk and it can pay off with big rewards here in Kalgoorlie. Tommy Sparks in that Energy Course kart out front from Dicker in second, Nicholson third. Now Betts in 4, Michael Jonesy, Jones in P5 from Rhodes, Del Toro, Fraser, Wheeler, Loonan, Hall, Edwards, Flynn and Knowles. Your running order as they make their way through the teardrop. Looks like the gap from Sparks back to Dicker, half a second at the line as they're fighting it over it for the remaining placings here. Mason Fraser on Carlos Del Toro, that forming a K-Kart. They're getting into each other and fighting over it here. Del Toro caught up in some action last night in your 125 restricted medium final as well. Now Del Toro falling back into the clutches of Cody Loonan as we pick up your leaders past the canteen once again here. Now Bree Rhodes up the inside of Michael Jones. She grabs the 5 spot from Jonesy, puts the veteran back down to P6 and outside of a top 5 result here in Kalgoorlie so far. Meanwhile, Sparksy continuing to lead this one out. Taylor Dicker has closed the gap though. Your top 4 are bunching up here. Sparks only 3.7 tenths clear of Dicker, 3.7 tenths back to Nicholson, another 3.7 tenths back to Jason Betts. They are evenly spaced across your top 4 right now. 1.1 seconds covers the top 4 drivers as they start to bunch up through the velodrome. Sparksy needs to go and get away from this field to hang on to the race lead. Picking up on your field as they make their way onto the main straightaway. Down the line, it's 12 laps to go here. Now 11 for Tommy Sparks, leading out from Taylor Dicker. Ryan Nicholson and Jason Betts are fastest on track right now. Trying to put the pressure on and push his way inside the podium here. It's going to take a big effort to get them there though. Bringing them out of Patrizi's and into the velodrome. Still about a second covers your top 4, so they might look more evenly spaced, but last time across the line they were closer together with a gap back to the next group of karts. So Bree Rhodes in P5, Michael Jones in 6, Mason Fraser in the 7th spot. From Cody Loonan rounding out your 8 here, and a gap back to Joel Wheeler in 9, Chantel Hall in 10. Over Carlos Del Toro, Ethan Flynn, Kaylin Edwards, your 13 drivers on track here. Bit of a battle forming here between Michael Jones and Mason Fraser. Fighting it out here for 6th and 7th as Mace is the fastest on track. The Wild Child can turn on a hot lap, but is struggling to find track position out here in Kalgoorlie. Down in P7 and monstering the rear bumper of Michael Jonesy Jones, the veteran of the field, through the velodrome. As we pick up your leaders, Tommy Sparks and Taylor Dicker. This is starting to heat up here. Dicker bringing down that gap for the race lead. She wants to get close enough to put on the fight in the second half of the race as they're fighting it out behind them there. Nicholson and Betts getting close together here in the fight for 3rd and 4th. They'd be smart to work together and close the gap to the leaders as they start to fight. See if they can arrive on the scene and challenge for a 4-kart battle pack for the race lead here in KA3 Senior Championship, brought to you by Hitchcock Engineering. As we picked up Fraser and Jones down towards Patrizi's. Running it around into the velodrome here. Fraser got past Michael Jonesy Jones and starting to use that lap speed that he has to see if he can try and close up the gap and get involved in an argument in the top 5. But he needs to do some work here and catch up to Bree Rhodes, who's the next up the road here in the number 20 Cosmic Kart. Sparksy leads Dicker up the pit straight. Into the teardrop, the gap between them last time by 0.2 of a second. we roll through the morning and approaching an end of the weekend here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. Sparksy jumping on the jets here with these Iamia KA100 engines as Dicker is hot on his heels now, putting the pressure on into the halfway point of the race. We're into the back half now, 7 to go. Last time across the line. Following along, Tommy Sparks continues to lead this one out here. Wants to take home some cash for the win this weekend. 6 to go across the line. You can't help but feel like Taylor Dicker is just biding her time and waiting for her moment to pounce on Sparksy and get the lead here. Has to be careful though, because Nicholson and Betts are closing up that gap again. It's 0.8 of a second across the top 4, and it's starting to get tight. What a sight it would be to have a 4-way fight for the lead here in KA3 Senior. Through the velodrome, Dicker trying to close up that gap to the back of Sparks, bouncing off the curbs at the chicane to keep the speed up here in these KA engines. And they rocket up the straightaway. 5 to go now. We are 15 down and 5 to go in your KA3 Senior Final. Brought to you by Hitchcock Engineering. Onto the pit straight away. It's these defining moments now in these final 5 laps of racing. If Taylor Dicker can make something happen and pick up the win over Tommy Sparks as they come out of the teardrop and the run past the out grid. Ryan Nicholson is right there as well. He has dropped off Jason Betts. So we're effectively into a 3-way fight. Betsy needs them to slow each other down here before he can get involved in this one as they hit the velodrome. 0.6 of a second covered your top 3. Last time across the line, they need to get within a couple tenths to make it happen as Dicker is just sitting behind Sparksy and waiting for her moment. Dicker a little bit too hard down into turn 1 though, drops a wheel at the canteen corner and Nicholson grabs second. And that could be the opportunity squandered here for Taylor Dicker, because now she's struggling to hang on to third. As Jason Betts is hot on her heels, putting the pressure on. Ryan Nicholson fancies himself a step onto the top step of the podium here this afternoon at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club for the Terra Mining Dash for Cash as Bree Rhodes gives Jason Betts a bit of a hurry up down towards Patrizzi. Taylor Dicker missing out on her chance to challenge Tommy Sparks here. Now it's Sparksy and Nicholson. Who wants it worse as they come down the line? 3 to go here. Sparksy leads from Nicholson in second. And into turn 2. Across the line, less than 0.2 of a second separated them. Nothing in it here. Sparksy just has to keep track position and survive this next 3 laps of racing. Nicholson has other plans for him though. The number 75 KF Kart closing the gap right up to put the pressure on here. The run down towards Patrizzi for the final race of the weekend here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. Through Patrizzi's they go. Nicholson staying in touch at the moment as they wrap around onto the velodrome. It looks like Sparksy has a better run through the off-camber this time by. And opening up a kart length or so as they approach the chicane. And the run to the main straightaway, this time by it's 2 laps remaining here. Nicholson with a check over the shoulder. Sparksy is unfazed. He doesn't even look back. He knows he's there. He knows what he needs to do. There's no point thinking too much about it and risking making a mistake behind them. The 3rd place position still not fully decided here with Dicker holding down 3rd. Betts in 4. Bree Rhodes running out your 5. This could all come to a head yet here. Sparksy leads from Nicholson on the run down to Patrizzi's once again here. A lap and a half left in it. Nicholson late on the brakes into Patrizzi, closing that gap right up. Can he get the drive coming off the off-camber though? Sparksy gets a better run at it and keeps the gap at about a kart length, but now Nicholson has the slipstream. Gets right up under Sparksy's rear bumper as they hit the chicane. 1 to run here in KA3 Senior Championship, brought to you by Hitchcock Engineering. This is the final lap, and Nicholson needs to make it happen here. Sparksy will have his head on a swivel coming up pit straight in a moment's time. As they charge up the hill, Nicholson looks to the inside and he gets the move done here into the teardrop. Nicholson leads on the final lap. Here comes Taylor Dicker into the mix as well, right up onto the rear bumper of Sparksy, who's back to the inside on Nicholson. Side by side down to Patrizzi. Nicholson getting monstered by the field. Dicker goes by, Betsy goes by, Bree Rhodes is in the mix as well. Nicholson trying to defend from Rhodes here at Patrizzi's, but now Tommy Sparks picked his moment beautifully to counter the move, and he reclaims the race lead. No one's going to get him now. Sparksy down the line. Thomas Sparks wins a last lap challenge for the lead and takes out the top spot here in KA3 Senior Championship. Taylor Dicker home in second. Jason Betts pounces on his opportunity in third on the final lap here at the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. That is KA3 Senior Championship. Run and done here at the Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Here with Tommy Sparks, surviving on that final lap was the name of the game, mate. You knew it was coming. You knew you had to make something happen. Talk me through knowing you'd lost the lead at the teardrop and then having to grab it right back to keep your hopes alive of being on the top step today.
He just left the door open, so he stick the nose in. He tried to run around the outside and got dirt on his tyres. That's it, you know, never give up and just have a crack.
It's good to see you on the top step. Not quite in KZ fashion, but you're enjoying this KA kind of thing, aren't you?
Oh, I'm not sweating, I'm not out of breath. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. No, the energy was on rails. It was nice and easy to drive all weekend. And yeah, just thanks to John Studdy for the kart and the Taylor family for letting me use the engine. So.
Solid result. Tommy Sparks is your KA3 Senior Championship winner here at the Dash for Cash, and that is a wrap for the Terra Mining Dash for Cash. From Eastern Goldfields Kart Club, it's been a ripper of a weekend. Thank you so much for everyone joining us here in Kalgoorlie for a great weekend of kart racing and for joining us live on 4-Star Media's broadcast of the racing all weekend long. We hope you enjoyed the action and you come back next year for the 2022 edition of the Dash for Cash right here at Eastern Goldfields Kart Club. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.